On Point, the show for younger gamers by gamers. I'm Bajo and D.A.R.R.E.N of the Apes.
And I'm the great Amazonian explorer, Hex.
And I am D.A.R.R.E.N, Bajo Zan's monkey companion.
Would you like a banana, monkey companionship?
Ugh, negative.
Darren, chimps don't say negative affirmative, they just go, role play with me, come on. Much better. We need to live the jungle life today, guys, because later on in the show, we're gonna have a look at Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D.
We'll also defend a few towers in Kingdom Rush Frontiers. A rare Amazonian three-toed sloth. I must seek it out.
Go, Hex. Also, please do the news while you're there.
Okay.
Bajo Zan, this monkey thing isn't working out for me. Can I change into a jungle explorer's outfit like Hex?
Oh, Darren, I spent all week making this for you.
It's blocking my fans. I'm gonna overheat.
Okay, well, in that case, if it's blocking your fans, I don't want you overheating, fine.
Hex here with the news from the jungle. Microsoft has announced that it's completely dropping the Xbox One's online requirement and used games policies. Now the Xbox One will no longer need to check in every 24 hours in order to play games, but it will need a one-off internet activation. Disc-based games will also now work just as they do with the current consoles, and you will need to have a game disc in the console in order to play it. This does mean the previously announced family sharing policy will no longer be available. However, it seems Microsoft is still exploring the idea as a possible addition sometime after launch. We reported on the tinkering of Caleb Craft before, who you may remember created a fire-breathing piranha plant from Mario. Now he is helping to design a controller to help disabled kids play video games. The controller is much like a regular one, except it is made of several detachable parts that can be placed on a pad or body in whatever configuration works best for the individual. The designs are freely available on the web and can largely be made using a 3D printer.
Where are you guys?
Oh, over here, Hex! Darren, I thought the monkey suit was much better, personally.
I disagree.
Thank goodness I found you. I thought I was lost.
Well, it is a jungle out there.
Well, Frontiers is the second game in the popular tower defense Kingdom Rush franchise.
The original Kingdom Rush made its debut on PC before getting ported over to iOS, but this one has skipped PC altogether.
Outrageous!
I know, Darren, I know!
Much like the first game, each level sends waves of enemies at you. Their sole purpose is to march forward relentlessly until they reach your territory. If this happens, it's game over, so you need to block their path with defenses.
You start with a small amount of money that you can build towers with, and this is where a big dose of the strategy comes into play. By using infantry towers, you can create a wall of troops to slow the enemy, while your ranged archers and magicians rain damage down upon them.
It's the tower's special abilities that I had the most fun with. By extending the range of your archery tower, you get a knock-on benefit of extending the range of any nearby towers. So by stacking magicians and artillery towers next to the archers, you can cover a large part of the map.
My favourite characters in the first game were the Archmages, who fired lasers from crystals. Unfortunately, they've been removed from this game. However, I do like the new magician abilities.
A common complaint I have with most tower defense games is that often I'm left just sitting there while my towers do all the work. But this game constantly kept me on my toes with the enemies. Some fly and others attack from a distance, so you need to keep adjusting your strategy and upgrading your towers. There's also your reserve troops and a hero warrior that you send as fast response units if you get into trouble. Plus, you can call on a meteor strike if you're about to be overwhelmed. I mean, this non-stop pace really had me hooked.
And I enjoyed how intense the boss fights were, although I did think they were a little unfair. Some of them carved new paths through the map, and every time I met one for the first time, I lost. Not because I'd done anything wrong, but because my defenses were built around what I thought were the only paths on the map. It was pretty frustrating, and in general the game's difficulty is cranked up pretty high. I certainly recommend turning it down to easy. It's what I did for my first run through.
It's possible the game has been designed to be more difficult to encourage microtransactions. Now that the game has a shop where you can buy single-use power-ups to help win battles.
Yes, I thought the new heroes were a bit money-grabby. You only get a handful of heroes included for free, and the best ones, like this fire-breathing dragon, cost more than the game itself.
Yeah, that is a good point, but that didn't take the shine off the fun for me. I mean, I still think this game improves on one of the best tower defense games for touchscreen ever, so I'm giving it 8.
Well, I agree it's still a great game, but all that microtransaction stuff just really got my goat, or got my monkey. I'm gonna give it 7.
Right, I'm off to the real Amazon. Prepare for blast off. Jungle life. Hello and welcome to Gaming Around the World with me, Darren. Today we shall look at Brazil. The largest and most populous nation in the continent of South America, Brazil is a rising power in the worlds of mining, business, and gaming. What a beautiful statue. The Amazon River, the largest river system in the world. Oh, snakes and bugs everywhere. Over 195 million humans live in Brazil, and over 40.2 million of them are gamers. While Brazil has a reputation as an easygoing place, it's still very strict on games. In 2008, the Brazilian government banned Bully, EverQuest, and Counter-Strike, arguing that such games bring imminent stimulus to the subversion of social order, attack on the democratic state, and law and against public security. The Brazilian government asserts that video games can be as dangerous as gambling and places heavy import taxes on consoles and game discs. Consoles typically cost twice as much as what they do in Australia, and new games sell in the shops for the equivalent of $140 or more. Yet in spite of these barriers, by some measures, Brazil is the fastest growing market for video games in the world. Brazilians spent over $2.6 billion on gaming in 2012, 32% more than in 2011. Why is it so? Well, partly because many gamers go to the trouble of buying games via cheaper websites. Digital download services such as Steam also do a roaring trade. With over 240 million mobile devices in Brazil, social games are also booming. Viva la revolution! You have nothing to lose but your DVD-ROM drives! Video game development is still a small part of the Brazilian economy, but the government is, paradoxically, encouraging and subsidizing the creation of edutainment software. And there's even a special public high school in Rio called Oi Futuro Nave, where students take classes in animation, script writing, and game programming. Just like Blanca from Street Fighter, many young Brazilians are finding gaming to be electrifying. Well, back to the studio! Off I go!
All right, let's get on with this before Darren gets back.
Yeah, good idea.
All right, well, first up, we've got this one from Sean in Deception Bay, which is in Queensland.
I feel so strong with this muscle suit on, Hex. Oh, it's just cosmetic.
Hey, guys. You guys are like the best show ever. I watch you every weekend. But anyway, is my question, that game Octodad, is that going to be a game for the PS4 or a PSN thing? Plazas, help me. I really want to know. PS Bago, you're rock. Hex, you rock as well. And Darren, well, you're a noob. Well, thanks, Sean, but if you're hankering for some Octodad action, you can actually download the original for free right now on PC. It was created as a little project by a few students a couple of years ago, so it's not the most polished game ever, but, well, it's certainly different.
Indeed. But to answer your question, yes, the upcoming Octodad Dadliest Catch will be coming out for PS4 on PSN. So it will be a downloadable game for the PS4 and PCs, and I do believe they're aiming to release it early next year or late this year. I can't remember, Hex, one of those.
All right, well, let's move on to this one from I love Minecraft in Minecraft Pixels in New South Wales.
Hi GGSP, I have a very important question for you. This does not include Darren because he is a super noob! Anyways, I have downloaded your Minecraft world and I am loving it, but I am stumped street what the Fat Collections is. There is a collection station underground and it says, collect fat loot here. What does it mean and where can I find the place it leads to? Please help me or I will never play Minecraft again! Heart. I love Minecraft. Yes, our fat loot collection spot. So that's actually just where the items our mob grinder makes can be collected.
Yeah, so you might notice how when our mob grinder traps and kills mobs, it whisks their loot away using these little water paths. It's a pretty clever system, but it is a bit slow and takes some time for mobs to spawn, fall in the traps, and then have their loot float down to you. But it makes collecting their loot much easier.
Yes, and we know a lot of you have thought we cheated when we made our world, but this little contraption is really what made a lot of our massive structures possible. Basically, we used a lot of TNT to make our mines and gather loads of resources. But TNT needs gunpowder, which you usually have to fight loads of dangerous creepers to get, but not with our loot machine.
Yeah, so what we do is just fill up our inventory slots with one piece of gunpowder each, which would stop us from picking up any other kind of loot. And then we'd just stand there and leave the game running overnight.
That's right. And when we came back in the morning, we'd have stacks and stacks of gunpowder. Genius.
Indeed, no good Minecraft world should be without a mob grinder. But let's move on to this one from In Your Face,
Whoa!
Who is in Melbourne, Victoria.
In your face.
You know how the PS4 is coming out? I was thinking, do we have to pay for online for better connection, or do we have to pay for playing online?
Yes, we're sorry to say it in your face, but they have confirmed that you will need to pay a subscription fee to play online multiplayer games on the PS4, just like you currently have to do with Xbox Live. However, PS3 multiplayer will stay as it is, free.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shame to hear, but while we're on the topic of next-gen machines, let's go to this one from In Barjo's Computer, which is wherever Barjo is, which is in Victoria, apparently. Whoa. Which is strange because you're right here next to me in New South Wales.
That is very strange. Could be Clone Barjo. He lives in Victoria.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got a crazy haircut.
Oh.
Yeah. It looks like my face is on my head. It's quite creative. Hi, Hex. Can you answer this and make sure Darren doesn't butt in? Do you know whether it's better to buy Xbox 360 now or wait for the Xbox One to come out? Barjo, please make these sounds. Pick somebody. Thanks. P.S. Hex is better than Barjo at everything, including making funny sounds. Also, Darren should stop interrupting you guys because that is just rude and that is what noobs do.
There it is. I'm better than you at everything.
Yeah, sure you are. If you were better than me at everything, then why did they ask me to do the sound effects? Obviously, I'm pretty good at those.
Well, you can't even make this sound, so...
It's because I don't need to make that sound because I can make this one.
Oh, well, that's rubbish, because this sounds even better.
I don't think that sounds better than... How did you make that one? That sounded like a phone. That was perfect.
No, that's actually the phone ringing, Barjo.
Oh, it's the phone. Barjo speaking.
Barjo and Hex, I've had a complaint from Kerry that you're both being too silly.
Sorry,
okay.
Kerry.
Get on
Thanks,
with it.
Darren.
Sorry,
Sorry, Kerry.
Kerry.
Sorry, Kerry. No, we better get back to the questions, Hex.
The question was, should I buy an Xbox 360 now or wait for the Xbox One?
An excellent question indeed. I'd say you definitely should wait, since right now is probably the worst time to buy a new console. If I was you, I'd wait for the Xbox One to come out and then buy a 360. Same goes for the PlayStation. I'd wait for the PS4 to come out and then buy a PS3.
Wait a minute, wait for the new consoles to come out and then buy the old ones? Why?
Yeah, well, I think there's a good chance that when those new consoles come out, they will drop the price of the old ones, and you'll have a whole range of games to choose from.
They'll be really inexpensive, the old ones.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, if you buy next gen, you're going to be paying top dollar for everything. Setting up a whole new console workstation, I don't have about 10 games to choose from as well. Very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, and it always sucks when you buy something just before they drop the price. But still, if you really want the latest, greatest gaming machines, then clearly you'll still want to go for one of the next generation of consoles. Anyway, let's move on to this one from Darren's creator, who is in Darren's brain in Queensland.
Whoa. Darren created himself from inside his own brain. It's like Darren makes Darren.
Boggles the mind.
It's loop, it's cyclical, it goes around forever.
He
Darren is eternal.
I have seen a Kingdom Hearts 3 coming in 2 years. Is this true? Please answer. P.S. Hex, you're Hex awesome. Barjo, you're triple awesome. And Darren is only a noob because I programmed him to be.
Triple awesome. Well, that's half true, Mr. Creator. There is indeed a Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out, but there's no release date. All they've said is that it's in development. So we have no idea when it will actually be coming out. It could be 4 years away. It could be 10 years away. It could be next week.
Yeah, although Although I'd say that 2 years is as good a guess as any.
Yeah.
And from what they've confirmed so far, it's going to be coming out on both the PS4 and Xbox One, which is actually the first time the series has ever come to the Xbox. But anyway, moving on to this one from Evap Ag. Who's actually from Seoul, which is in Korea, outside Australia, obviously.
That's the noise I make when I sneeze.
Really?
Yeah.
What a coincidence that's this person's screen name.
Maybe I sneezed on your computer. Dear GGSP, I am having a lot of trouble in Plants vs. Zombies 1. It is very hard to buy the plants, and the zombies keep eating them. I keep getting zombies in my house, and then it is suddenly game over. Bajo is cool, Hex is awesome, and D.A.R.R.E.N is the king of noobs. Hex, make these faces. And Bajo, do these. Sound. Well, Evat, first of all, thanks for watching us all the way over there in Korea. But I think we can definitely give you a few basic tips which will hopefully help. First of all, we always like to bring along the potato mine. They only cost 25 and are great for dealing with zombies early on.
Then, once you start a level, you should try and get a decent-sized sunflower farm up as quickly as possible. We always put down a sunflower as the first plant and then usually leave the back 2 rows just for sunflowers.
Then once you see the first zombie shamble onto your lawn, place a mine in his path. But make sure you place it far enough ahead of them to give it enough time to arm.
Then just keep on adding sunflowers and mines to deal with the first few zombies until you've got a few sunflowers and are earning a solid amount of sun. Then start placing bigger plants. Pea shooters are good for all-rounders to use, but it's a good idea to bring along walnuts to slow down the bigger hordes of zombies too.
Yeah, obviously it's up to you how you like to set up your defenses from that point on, but we tend to find that's a solid strategy for most levels.
Well, good luck with it, but I think we have time for one more. Just quickly, let's go to this one from Jude, who is in Mullumbimby in New South Wales. I love saying that. Mullumbimby.
Mullumbimby.
It's like a song.
Mullumbimby.
Mullumbimby.
Mullumbimby. It's in New South Wales.
Yeah, all right, that's fine.
And that's where they live.
Good game. Is there a Back to the Future video game for the Nintendo 3DS? Thanks, Jude.
Hey Jude! No, there isn't a Back to the Future game for the 3DS, but there is a very decent point-and-click adventure simply called Back to the Future, the game, which you can get on PC, PS3, Wii, and even iOS.
Well, that was a quick one. On that note, we're out of time for this week, so if you'd like to ask us something, then you can do that here.
Oh, Hex, can you help me with my muscles? They're too big and I can't get up.
You have balloons attached to you.
I know if I fall over, I bounce right back up again.
It's really large.
I'll show you. Oh, I didn't. It didn't work.
Well, now it's time to barrel blast our way back to the lush jungles of Donkey Kong Island on the 3DS. Are you all right?
Yes, Hex, nothing but a practice won't fix. But yes, the Great Ape returns in this 2010 Wii Classic re-release called Donkey Kong Country Returns, and now it's in 3D.
If you played the original Wii version or any of the older Super Nintendo titles for that matter, then you'll know that the Donkey Kong series is all about frantic 2D platforming as you navigate Donkey and his trusty sidekick Diddy through a series of island levels.
Yes, as you work your way through the 8 main worlds, you'll be collecting bananas for extra lives, Kong letters and puzzle pieces for unlocks, as well as banana coins to spend on special items that can be equipped before starting each level.
You can play the story solo or with a friend.
But they will need their own 3DS and their own copy of the game.
Well, yes. And in typical Nintendo fashion, there's not a whole lot of story to it. It's just bright levels, fun characters, and tight gameplay.
Affirmative. Just as every Mario game is about the princess being kidnapped, every DK game has to be about his precious banana hoard being stolen. Only this time it's due to a bunch of haunted tiki masks hypnotizing the jungle inhabitants.
Yes, when this first came out on the Wii, I remember not being too impressed with the new enemy type. I missed those dastardly Kremlins and the noise they made when you jumped on their head. Bronk! 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 Luckily, they make up for it with brilliant level design.
Totally, Bajo. Each one feels new and original with new challenges to overcome. Also, the controls translate perfectly onto the 3DS. Gone is the waggle to roll, replaced with a simple button press, which helps once you get some momentum up and start to hit that jungle groove.
Yes, the less waggle in games, the better, I think, Hex. And the controls do feel spot on. Stringing enemy jumps together, timing barrel blasts, and of course, steering through those minecart levels that will definitely take more than one go to complete.
Yes, those are tricky, but I have to say I really enjoyed the challenge because the learning curve here is spot on. Unfortunately, though, it appears the series might be going the way of Mario with an additional game mode that tries to make the game easier.
Affirmative. The new mode grants each character an additional heart, as well as extra items that can be purchased from Cranky's store, such as green balloons that save you from falls and a crash guard potion that makes your minecart temporarily invincible.
Yes, and while this may come in handy for any spawnlings who've never played the original or who are just into platformers in general, it also takes away that challenge that really made the original such a satisfyingly tricky game.
Yes, I think it's an opportunity missed. If anything, they should make it more challenging.
To be fair, they have included 8 new levels that you can access once you finish the game, and while they do feel a little bit like a remix of what's already there, I don't know, I think we've been a bit harsh on this game. I mean, in my opinion, this is still one of the greatest platformers out there, and the 3D effect is worth the replay alone.
I think we haven't been harsh enough, Hex. Think of it this way. If you've got a sandwich and it's delicious, a delicious cheese sandwich, and you eat it for the first time, it's amazing. But then if you have that same cheese sandwich again and again and again, it loses all impact. And that's how I feel about a lot of Nintendo games, because they just keep re-releasing the same thing. So I just think it should have been a whole brand new adventure. So I'm going to play the bad guy and give it 6 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Ouch. Oh no, I disagree. I mean, I think this is one of the greatest platformers out there, and for spawnlings who've never played it or missed out playing it on the Wii, then now they have it on a portable handheld, which is just great, I think. So I'm giving it 9.
Do you think DK ever gets sick of bananas?
Oh, maybe, Darren. I don't know. I don't get sick of bananas. They're always quite tasty and they're good for you.
Awfully bushy around here.
Yes, Hex, well, you see, it's a constant reminder that no matter how technologically advanced we get, nature always wins. Life finds a way.
And with that, we've run out of time for another week.
I liked you better as a monkey, Darren.
Next week on the show, it's more animals and fruit with Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Oh, I can't wait to lord it over my villagers.
Till next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo Zan out.
Da-dum out.
Hex, I heard you actually went to the Amazon once.
Oh, I did.
What was it like?
I saw giant lily pads that were like as big as dinner plates, and they could hold the weight of a baby.
Whoa.
And piranhas that were in the river, so I didn't put my fingers in the water because they'd bite my fingers off. And I saw a sloth. I held a sloth, and they move really slowly like this. And their fur grows upside down because they hang upside down all day.
Wow.